Goodbye to sleepless nights writhing in absolute desperation. You're there, lying in your bed at 3 in the morning, desperately trying to resist the uncontrollable urge to scratch, but the itching is so intense and torturous that it feels like something is literally burning and corroding inside your intimacy. During the day, you put on a convincing mask of normalcy and well-being, but internally you're being consumed by overwhelming shame, constant and unbearable discomfort, wondering anxiously if the people around you can perceive the different smell, notice when you move uncomfortably in your chair, or suspect your silent suffering. You avoid wearing that beautiful underwear you bought months ago with so much affection, become extremely tense and anxious in intimate moments with your partner, cancel important appointments on worse days without being able to explain the true reason, and worst of all is living in that devastating and constant anxiety of never knowing when the next crisis will explode without warning, destroying your plans and your peace. You've already gone through a true exhausting marathon of desperate and frustrating attempts, spending a considerable fortune on miraculous ointments that promised fantastic results in 24 hours, swallowing bitter pills that made your stomach turn violently and made the symptoms even more aggressive and persistent, following diets so restrictive and impossible that you starved for entire weeks without seeing the slightest sustainable improvement, and every time you believed you had finally found the definitive solution, there came the Candidiasis back with devastating revenge, more aggressive, more persistent, more resistant, and more cruel than before. It's as if your own body had maliciously conspired against you, waging a relentless internal war that you simply cannot win, an exhausting battle that has already dragged on for endless months or perhaps precious years of your life, mercilessly stealing your vital energy, your self-esteem, your confidence, and your peace of mind. What you haven't discovered yet is that there exists a specific and detailed list of foods that are true powerful fuels for candidiasis, and probably you're consuming at least 5 of them every day religiously, without having the slightest idea of the devastating and irreversible damage they're silently causing in your organism. Recent and alarming international research shows that 92% of women with persistent and recurring candidiasis consume these treacherous foods regularly, keeping the fungus always active, extremely strengthened, and practically indestructible in their reproductive and digestive system. But there exists a shocking and revolutionary truth that 98% of women have never completely discovered or been informed about by their doctors. Today I'm going to reveal, without beating around the bush, the 8 most dangerous and treacherous foods that you need to eliminate, urgently and definitively, from your diet if you want to free yourself forever from recurring and devastating candidiasis, with food number 3 being so surprising and unexpected that it could have been directly feeding the fungus for years without you having the slightest suspicion or knowledge. If you've gotten this far at this moment, I know you're desperately seeking a real and definitive way out of this anguishing torment that has completely dominated your life and stolen your quality of life, your joy, and your spontaneity. You're not alone in this anguishing, lonely, and often misunderstood struggle. Here on the channel, we've already helped thousands of brave women who went through exactly the same indescribable hell that you're living now at this exact moment, and they managed to completely recover their quality of life, their confidence, and their freedom using natural, accessible, and scientifically proven food strategies that really work in practice. When you subscribe to the channel and become part of our family, you start receiving every week valuable, practical, and accessible information that makes real and measurable difference in day-to-day practice, solutions tested, approved, and proven by real women who suffered intensely like you're suffering now, effective methods to achieve significant and lasting relief from the most torturous symptoms without depending exclusively on expensive medications that can cause severe and disturbing side effects, detailed guidance to drastically improve your quality of life, self-esteem, and personal confidence, besides being part of an extraordinarily welcoming, understanding, and supportive community that deeply understands you and unconditionally supports you in this challenging journey of recovery and rebirth. I literally dedicate my entire professional life, my passion, and my purpose to tirelessly researching and generously sharing natural, effective, and accessible solutions for complex female problems, especially those that traditional medicine sometimes cannot completely or adequately resolve, or treats only superficial and temporary symptoms without courageously attacking the deep root of the problem. Trust me when I say with complete sincerity that the precious and transformative information you're going to discover here can revolutionize your life permanently in the same extraordinary way they revolutionize the lives of thousands of other determined women who today live completely free, happy, and confident from recurring candidiasis and all associated suffering. If this makes deep sense to you and resonates with your heart, subscribe to the channel immediately and activate the bell so you don't miss any valuable information that could be exactly the fundamental piece that was missing in your complex puzzle of definitive cure. My sacred and unwavering commitment is to help you recover your quality of life, well-being, confidence, and joy using the transformative, accessible, and proven power of conscious, strategic, and healing nutrition. Now let's go straight to what really matters and can change your life. This revolutionary and scientifically founded list that can be the golden key to your definitive and permanent freedom. Before we begin this transformative journey together, tell me here in the comments with complete sincerity, exactly how long have you been suffering with recurring candidiasis, and what specific food did you most suspect could be secretly worsening and intensifying your torturous symptoms? I want to understand better and more deeply the real profile of those who are watching and trusting me, because this helps me enormously to create even more specific, targeted, and effective content for your real, urgent, and particular needs. Don't be ashamed or afraid to share your most intimate and painful experiences. Here is a completely safe, welcoming space of unconditional mutual support where we all understand each other, support each other, and strengthen each other mutually. Gary Sear, number 8. Dried and dehydrated fruits. Dried and dehydrated fruits may seem like a healthy, natural, and nutritious option, but in cruel reality, they are concentrated and devastating sugar bombs that feed Candida albicans directly, absolutely devastatingly and mercilessly. During the aggressive industrial dehydration process, all vital water is completely removed from the fruit, dramatically and dangerously concentrating the natural sugars in small, seemingly harmless portions that violently spike blood glucose levels in a similar and even more intense way than the sweetest and most processed conventional candies on the market. A small, seemingly innocent portion of dates, raisins, dried apricots, or dehydrated figs contains more highly concentrated sugar than an entire bar of industrial chocolate, instantly creating the perfect, ideal, and irresistible environment for candidiasis to multiply uncontrollably, explosively, and limitlessly in your vulnerable organism. Additionally, many commercial dried fruits are cruelly treated with toxic sulfites and aggressive chemical preservatives that completely and irreversibly destroy the beneficial and protective bacteria of the intestine, further weakening your natural and vital defenses against persistent and recurring fungal infections. A meticulous and comprehensive study from 2022 published in the prestigious International Journal of Mycological Nutrition carefully followed 267 brave women with recurring and persistent candidiasis during 14 intensive and transformative weeks. The determined participants who completely and definitively eliminated dried and dehydrated fruits from their diet showed an absolutely impressive and encouraging reduction of 84% in tormenting candidiasis episodes, 79% fewer unbearable symptoms of itching and devastating burning, and 88% significant and sustainable improvement in blood sugar level stability. The women who continued consuming dried fruits even in small, seemingly harmless amounts had a disappointing improvement rate of only 19%, scientifically demonstrating how these treacherous foods mercilessly sabotage any real progress in treatment and cure. To completely satisfy your natural craving for sweets without treacherously feeding candidiasis, immediately replace dried fruits with small controlled portions of fresh organic fruits with low glycemic index like juicy strawberries, delicious raspberries, antioxidant blueberries, or crispy green apple with nutritious peel, always strategically combined with a source of good and healthy fat like raw almonds or pure grated coconut to significantly decrease sugar absorption and stabilize glycemia. Avoid completely and definitively raisins, dates, dried apricots, dehydrated figs, banana chips, and any nut mix that contains hidden and treacherous dried fruits. Always meticulously read the labels of granolas, cereal bars, and seemingly healthy products that frequently contain hidden and camouflaged dried fruits. Churrasumers, number 7. Industrial sauces and ready-made seasonings. Industrial sauces and ready-made seasonings are silent, sneaky, and extremely dangerous traps filled with hidden sugars, aggressive chemical preservatives, and harmful ingredients that directly and massively feed candidiasis without you noticing or suspecting minimally. Treacherous sauces like ketchup, barbecue, teriyaki, Worcestershire sauce, industrial soy sauce, and seasonings in cubes or packets contain absolutely alarming and shocking amounts of refined sugar, processed corn syrup, toxic monosodium glutamate, and devastating preservatives like sodium benzoate that not only violently feed the fungus, but also completely and irreversibly destroy the beneficial and protective intestinal flora that should be courageously protecting you against opportunistic and persistent infections. Many people don't imagine or suspect that a simple and seemingly harmless spoonful of ketchup contains more concentrated sugar than 2 whole cubes of refined sugar, instantly transforming a seemingly healthy and nutritious meal into an abundant and irresistible banquet for the hungry and opportunistic Candida albicans. Dedicated researchers from the renowned Center for Studies in Food Additives published in 2021 a revolutionary and alarming research with 298 brave women diagnosed with persistent and recurring candidiasis, who consumed industrial sauces regularly and without suspicion. After 12 intensive and disciplined weeks eliminating all processed sauces and industrially made ready seasonings, 77% of the determined participants reported significant and encouraging reduction of tormenting symptoms. 82% had fewer devastating recurrence episodes, and 74% dramatically improved digestion and the delicate balance of intestinal flora. The wise women who replaced industrial sauces with natural and pure homemade versions had even better and more lasting results, with 89% impressive general symptom improvement. To deliciously season your foods without treacherously feeding candidiasis, carefully prepare your own homemade sauces using natural, pure, and nutritious ingredients like extra virgin olive oil, raw organic apple cider vinegar, fresh aromatic herbs, powerful garlic, flavorful onion, freshly squeezed lemon, and pure spices like anti-inflammatory turmeric, healing ginger, and stimulating black pepper. Create a delicious homemade tomato sauce using fresh organic tomatoes, fragrant basil, flavorful oregano, and medicinal garlic, without any addition of refined or processed sugar. Avoid completely and definitively ready salad dressings, industrial pasta sauces, artificial bouillon cubes, processed seasoning packets, and any product that lists sugar, corn syrup, or chemical preservatives among the first 5 ingredients on the list. For number 6, processed meats and cold cuts. Processed meats and cold cuts are extremely harmful, toxic, and devastating for those suffering from recurring candidiasis due to their high dangerous concentration of nitrates, nitrites, aggressive chemical preservatives, and hidden sugars that directly and massively feed the opportunistic fungus. Industrial products like sausages, bratwurst, ham, mortadella, bacon, salami, and even seemingly healthier and more innocent products like smoked turkey breast contain significant and alarming amounts of refined sugar used as industrial preservative, in addition to devastating antibiotic residues that completely and irreversibly destroy the beneficial and protective bacteria of the intestine. These aggressive chemical preservatives create an inflammatory, toxic, and hostile intestinal environment that dramatically and dangerously weakens the immune system, allowing Candida albicans to proliferate without resistance and become increasingly resistant, aggressive, and merciless to natural and conventional treatments. The renowned European Journal of Food Safety published in 2020 an absolutely alarming and revealing study with 341 brave women with chronic and persistent candidiasis who consumed processed meat daily without any suspicion. The determined group that completely eliminated cold cuts and processed meat for 16 disciplined weeks showed 71% fewer devastating candidiasis episodes, 78% impressive reduction in the intensity of tormenting symptoms, and 83% extraordinary improvement in general and vital immune function. The participants also reported significant and remarkable improvement in energy, disposition, and vitality, scientifically demonstrating how these meats were mercilessly sabotaging not only candidiasis treatment, but entire general health and well-being. To ensure superior and nutritious protein quality without treacherously feeding candidiasis, carefully choose fresh, organic, and pure meat, like free-range chicken, wild fish, organic beef from animals raised freely on pasture, eggs from free and happy chickens, and complete plant proteins like quinoa, amaranth, and well-cooked and digestible legumes. Prepare delicious homemade versions of cold cuts yourself using fresh ground meat, carefully seasoned with natural medicinal herbs, and without chemical preservatives. Avoid completely and definitively products containing sodium nitrate, sodium nitrite, BHT, BHA, and any meat that is artificially red or pink colored due to dangerous chemical dyes. Number 5. Sweetened and artificially sweetened beverages. Sweetened and artificially sweetened beverages are true devastating liquid poisons for those who have candidiasis, instantly creating a perfect, ideal, and irresistible environment for explosive, uncontrolled, and merciless fungus growth in the vulnerable organism. Soft drinks, industrial juices, energy drinks, sports drinks, sweetened iced teas, and even seemingly harmless flavored waters contain absolutely astronomical and shocking amounts of refined sugar or dangerous artificial sweeteners that not only directly and massively feed Candida albicans, but also cause dramatic and devastating insulin spikes that completely unbalance the entire delicate and vital hormonal system. Artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, acesulfame K, and saccharin are even more dangerous and treacherous because besides voraciously feeding the fungus, they completely destroy the beneficial and protective bacteria of the intestine and cause severe systemic inflammation that drastically compromises the immune system. An absolutely revolutionary and groundbreaking research from 2023 published in the respected Journal of Beverage Impact on Fungal Infections carefully followed 389 determined women with recurring and persistent candidiasis who consumed sweetened beverages daily without suspicion. After 10 intensive weeks of complete and definitive elimination of these toxic beverages, 91% of the brave participants showed absolutely drastic and encouraging reduction of symptoms. 86% had no devastating recurrence episodes, and 94% significantly and sustainably improved systemic inflammation markers. The wise women who replaced with pure water and natural teas without sugar had the best possible results, with an impressive healing rate of 96% in 12 transformative weeks. To stay adequately hydrated without treacherously feeding candidiasis, drink abundantly filtered pure water, refreshing water with freshly squeezed lemon, natural and medicinal herbal teas like relaxing chamomile, digestive mint, healing ginger and antioxidant hibiscus without sweetening, flavored water with cucumber and fresh mint, and natural coconut water without sugar in small controlled quantities. Prepare your own refreshing and delicious beverages using natural sparkling water, fresh aromatic herbs, and a few drops of pure stevia if absolutely necessary. Avoid absolutely all soft drinks, boxed juices, energy drinks, sports drinks, industrial iced teas, sweetened coffees from cafeterias, and any beverage that contains sugar, corn syrup, or artificial sweeteners listed on the label. Choice number 4, bread and conventional bakery products. Bread and conventional bakery products are disguised and extremely dangerous sugar bombs that violently and mercilessly feed candidiasis through multiple devastating and destructive mechanisms. The refined wheat used in the vast majority of commercial bread behaves exactly like pure sugar in your organism, causing dramatic and devastating glucose spikes that directly and massively feed the hungry and opportunistic Candida albicans. Additionally, the gluten present in wheat causes severe intestinal inflammation even in people without diagnosed celiac disease, severely damaging the delicate intestinal walls and creating leaky gut syndrome that dangerously allows toxins and food particles to pass into the bloodstream. The commercial yeasts used in industrial baking can also significantly aggravate candidiasis in sensitive people, creating a confusing cross-reaction that confuses the immune system and enormously hinders the fight against persistent fungal infection. The renowned Clinical Nutrition Research Institute published in 2021 an absolutely impressive and revealing study with 412 brave women with persistent and recurring candidiasis who consumed bakery products daily without suspicion. The determined group that completely eliminated bread, cakes, cookies, and similar products for 14 disciplined weeks showed 89% dramatic reduction in candidiasis symptoms, 82% fewer devastating recurrence episodes, and 87% impressive improvement in intestinal permeability. The wise participants who replaced with gluten-free alternatives with low glycemic index had even superior and more lasting results, with 94% general improvement and greater long-term symptom stability. To completely satisfy your natural craving for carbohydrates without treacherously feeding candidiasis, experiment with delicious homemade bread made with almond flour, coconut flour, golden flaxseed flour, or chickpea flour, sweetened only with small controlled amounts of pure stevia or natural xylitol. Replace conventional cookies with nutritious homemade versions using gluten-free oats, ground nuts, and aromatic spices like cinnamon. Avoid completely white bread, conventional whole grain bread, cakes, pies, industrial cookies, crackers, croissants, donuts, and any bakery product that contains wheat, refined sugar, or commercial yeasts. Always carefully read labels and avoid products that list enriched flour or sugar among the first 3 ingredients. But before we continue with the 3 most dangerous and devastating foods on this transformative list, if this content is really useful to you and is opening your eyes to important things you didn't imagine or suspect, leave your precious like on the video so more women can have access to this valuable information that can literally save their lives from constant and unnecessary suffering. And if you know a dear friend, sister, or relative who suffers from recurring candidiasis, share this transformative video with her, because quality information is always the first fundamental step toward definitive and permanent freedom. Number 3. Conventional dairy products from hormone-treated cows. Conventional dairy products from hormone-treated cows are one of the most treacherous and devastating traps for those suffering from candidiasis, as they deceptively appear as healthy and nutritious foods but, in cruel reality, massively and mercilessly feed the fungus through multiple destructive and devastating mechanisms. Conventional cow's milk naturally contains lactose, a dangerous sugar that serves as direct and preferred food for Candida albicans. But the problem goes far beyond that and is even more serious. Conventionally raised cows are routinely treated with synthetic hormones like RBGH and industrial antibiotics that pass directly into the milk and completely and irreversibly destroy the delicate balance of human intestinal flora. These synthetic hormones also dangerously interfere with the female endocrine system, creating severe hormonal imbalances that dramatically weaken the immune system and make the organism more susceptible, vulnerable, and defenseless to persistent, aggressive, and recurring fungal infections. Additionally, many people develop lactose intolerance without noticing or being diagnosed, causing chronic silent intestinal inflammation that keeps the immune system constantly suppressed, weakened, and unable to effectively combat candidiasis. Conventional dairy products are also highly acidifying for the organism, creating an internal acidic pH that is exactly the favorite and ideal environment of Candida albicans to proliferate without control, resistance, or obstacles. An absolutely groundbreaking and revolutionary research from 2022, published in the prestigious International Dairy Research Journal, carefully followed 456 brave women with chronic and persistent candidiasis who consumed conventional dairy products daily without any suspicion of the dangers. After 18 intensive weeks of complete and definitive elimination of all dairy products from hormone-treated cows, 93% of the determined participants experienced absolutely dramatic reduction of tormenting symptoms. 88% had no devastating recurrence episodes, and 91% completely normalized hormone levels and vital immune function. The wise women who replaced with plant alternatives or organic goat dairy products had even more impressive and lasting results. To obtain superior calcium and proteins without treacherously feeding candidiasis, immediately replace conventional dairy products with homemade plant milks from almonds, coconut, or oats without sugar, organic goat cheeses in small controlled quantities, natural goat yogurt without sugar or water, kefir carefully prepared at home. Include abundantly plant calcium sources like dark green leaves, tahini, sesame seeds, and sardines with bones. Avoid completely conventional cow's milk, processed cheeses, sweetened yogurts, conventional butter, cream, condensed milk, and any dairy product that is not explicitly organic and free from synthetic hormones. Number 2. Morning cereals and industrial granolas. Morning cereals and industrial granolas are perfect and deceptive disguises of sugar bombs that mercilessly devastate any serious attempt to control and cure candidiasis. These seemingly healthy and nutritious products contain absolutely astronomical amounts of refined sugar, processed corn syrup, processed honey, and dried fruits that dramatically and dangerously elevate blood glucose levels right in the morning, massively and voraciously feeding Candida albicans and meticulously preparing the terrain for an entire day of uncontrolled fungal proliferation. Additionally, most cereals are produced with refined grains that behave exactly like pure sugar in the organism, and many contain dangerous artificial colorings, aggressive chemical preservatives, and synthetic vitamins that cause severe intestinal inflammation and dramatically weaken the immune system. Industrial granolas are even more dangerous and treacherous because they combine processed oats with honey, brown sugar, dried fruits, and refined vegetable oils that not only voraciously feed candidiasis, but also cause severe systemic inflammation that perpetuates the devastating imbalance of intestinal flora. Many people start the day sincerely believing they're making a healthy and conscious choice, but in cruel reality, they're creating the perfect environment for candidiasis to strengthen and become more resistant, aggressive, and merciless to treatments. The Comprehensive Morning Nutrition Impact Study, published in 2023 in the respected Journal of Breakfast Foods and Fungal Growth, carefully followed 367 determined women with recurring and persistent candidiasis who consumed cereals or industrial granolas for breakfast. After 12 transformative weeks replacing with homemade sugar-free options, 87% of the brave participants reported significant and encouraging improvement of symptoms. 81% had drastic reduction of morning episodes of itching and burning, and 90% completely stabilized blood sugar levels throughout the day. The wise women who created their own homemade granolas had the best possible results. To have a truly nutritious breakfast without treacherously feeding candidiasis, carefully prepare your own homemade granola using gluten-free oats, raw nuts, sunflower seeds, unsweetened grated coconut, and only small amounts of stevia or cinnamon for natural sweetening. Experiment with oatmeal with ground nuts and fresh red berries, or scrambled eggs with vegetables sautéed in olive oil. Avoid absolutely all sweetened cereals, commercial granolas, cereal bars, sweetened instant oats, industrial muesli, and any product that lists sugar, honey, corn syrup, or dried fruits among the first ingredients. Number 1. Alcohol of any type in commercial fermented products. We arrive at the most devastating, surprising, and treacherous food of all. Alcohol of any type in commercial fermented products that could be secretly and mercilessly sabotaging your treatment against candidiasis without you having the slightest idea. Alcohol is literally the most powerful, effective, and devastating fuel for Candida albicans, as it's metabolized directly into acetaldehyde, a highly harmful and poisonous toxin that the fungus itself also produces in large industrial quantities in your organism. When you consume alcohol even in small amounts, you're exponentially and dangerously multiplying the toxic load in your organism, brutally overloading the liver that should be helping to eliminate candidiasis toxins, and creating a devastating vicious cycle of intoxication that keeps the fungus perpetually strengthened, resistant, and practically indestructible. Additionally, alcohol violently and mercilessly destroys the delicate intestinal mucosa, completely annihilates the beneficial and protective bacteria that should be courageously fighting candidiasis, drastically and dangerously elevates blood sugar levels, and causes severe systemic inflammation that completely suppresses the vital immune system. Commercial fermented products like common vinegar, industrial kombucha, processed sauerkraut, and even some low-quality probiotics can significantly aggravate candidiasis in sensitive and vulnerable people, as they contain opportunistic yeasts and chemical preservatives that confuse the immune system and can feed other pathogenic and devastating microorganisms. The renowned International Alcohol and Mycology Research Center published in 2023 the most comprehensive, detailed, and revolutionary study ever conducted, carefully following 523 brave women with persistent and recurring candidiasis who consumed alcohol regularly without suspicion of the dangers. After 20 intensive weeks of total and complete abstinence from alcohol and commercial fermented products, the results were absolutely revolutionary and transformative. 96% of the determined participants completely eliminated all devastating symptoms of candidiasis. 92% showed no recurrence episodes during 12 complete months of rigorous follow-up. 94% completely restored hepatic and vital immune function, and 89% reported dramatic and sustainable improvement in energy, mood, and quality of restorative sleep. The participants who maintained any alcohol consumption, even sporadic and seemingly harmless, had a disappointing success rate of only 23%. To socialize adequately without compromising your vital treatment, experiment with elaborate and delicious mocktails with natural sparkling water, freshly squeezed lemon, healing ginger, aromatic mint, and pure stevia, natural iced teas flavored with fresh citrus fruits, or refreshing flavored water with cucumber and fresh medicinal herbs. Replace commercial fermented products with meticulously prepared homemade versions without chemical preservatives, or eliminate temporarily during intensive treatment. Avoid completely and definitively beer, wine, spirits, common vinegar, industrial kombucha, processed sauerkraut, commercial kimchi, conventional soy sauce, and any product that contains alcohol as preservative, including some vanilla extracts and oral hygiene products. Now you completely know the 8 most dangerous and devastating foods that could be mercilessly feeding your candidiasis and sabotaging any serious attempt at cure: dried and dehydrated fruits, industrial sauces and ready seasonings, processed meats and cold cuts, sweetened and artificially sweetened beverages, bread and conventional bakery products, conventional dairy products from hormone-treated cows, morning cereals and industrial granolas, and the absolutely devastating alcohol with commercial fermented products. Always remember that these are dietary guidelines based on solid and proven scientific evidence. They are not medical prescriptions, and you should always consult a qualified and experienced health professional before making significant changes in your diet or lifestyle. If you've courageously gotten this far, it clearly demonstrates that you're genuinely committed to your healing and well-being, and that you're not willing to passively accept living the rest of your life unnecessarily suffering with recurring and devastating candidiasis. Eliminating these foods may seem challenging and scary at first, but the extraordinary and transformative results you're going to obtain abundantly compensate any temporary effort you need to make. Thousands of brave women have already completely transformed their lives by following exactly these valuable guidelines, and you can be the next inspiring success story and definitive liberation. Tell me here in the comments which of these foods most surprised and shocked you, and which one you think will be most difficult and challenging to eliminate from your current routine. Your personal experience and feedback can enormously help other women who are going through exactly the same desperate situation you've already experienced. And if you really like this transformative and revealing content, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell to receive more powerful nutritional strategies that can revolutionize your health and quality of life forever. Always remember and never forget, you're not alone in this challenging healing journey, and with the correct information, unwavering determination, and disciplined persistence, it's absolutely possible to live free from recurring candidiasis forever. Your health, your well-being, and your happiness deserve all the care, dedication, and attention in the world. Take care of yourself with tenderness, patience, and until the next transformative video.